channel. This is Anna's Aqua Home, and today I am working on some quilted fabric. I'm not really getting a project done today. I'm just working on getting the supplies ready for my project when I went to work on them. So I've been seeing a lot of like makeup bags and different maybe tote bags or little purses, but all of them call for quilted fabric. So quilted fabric is pretty much when you have the backing fabric, the batting, and then the top fabric, and then you sew through all three layers, and that's what's called quilted fabric. So I don't have any quilted fabric, and I thought to speed up the process when I actually go to make some of these projects, I just go ahead and spend a whole day making some quilted fabric. So I chose a couple different fabrics to do, and then I decided a couple different designs that I wanted to do. So I thought I'd bring you along, show you the different patterns I used and the different fabrics, and then hopefully you can get some good ideas, and hopefully you can stick around at the channel to see what projects I make in upcoming videos. So thanks for stopping by. Let's get sewing. So I have a couple different ones that I've set up to do. So to do my quilting, you're basically going to need a backing fabric, a batting. I'm using a cotton low loft batting. Loft just refers to how poofy the batting is. So if you see, some polyester batting can be really thick, some is really thin. There's cotton batting, there's bamboo batting, there's polyester. It's really just a matter of your preference, what you want to use. But I'm just using a cotton batting scrap left over from another project. And then I'm just going to be making a quilting design on here. So quilting just refers to sewing through all three layers in a design, or to keep them together. So for this one, I want to try several different designs, but I have not only this piece that I'm going to be quilting, and it's two different sided. So I did two different fabrics. I have a scrap of this fabric that I'm going to go ahead and quilt. Again, it's just one long piece. It's folded up here, so I just cut off about 8 inches and then put the batting in between. I'm going to be quilting this, and the final piece that I've been doing is this fabric. So this aqua fabric, I'm going to go ahead and quilt this one as well. So I have just white thread. I think I'm going to quilt all of these in just plain white thread. If you wanted to match your thread, you certainly could do that. I'm not going to worry about it, but then I have to decide what pattern I'm doing on what piece. So I think I'm going to start maybe with the small one, this little one, and I'm thinking of just doing like a little bit of a wave, but then I'd have to do that again and again. So maybe I'll just go ahead and do straight lines. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start with just straight lines. I think I'm going to do about an inch and a half. So straight lines all of this way, and then I'll decide whether I want to come back and do straight lines the other way and kind of do it like a square. That's what I'm thinking, but let me at least start by sewing lines. And to do this, you don't want to sew down, and then it'd be tempting to turn around and sew up this way. But when you sew, the fabric's going to slightly pull down this way, and then when you go this way on the sewing machine, it's going to slightly pull this way. So it may like create little bubbles. So what you're going to want to do is start at the same edge each time. So start at this edge, go down. Start at this edge, go down. Start at this edge, go down. And just keep repeating that over and over. I'm going to use the edge of my presser foot as the template, kind of like where I'm starting from, to kind of show. So I'm going to do the first one about 1/4 of an inch. It's folded over, so really it's going to be about a half inch from the edge. And then I'm going to use the piece that I've just sewn as my mark to decide the next line. So I'll show you when I get there, but first, straight line. right, now we've got our first line, you can see that. So when we go to do our second line, we can use this line as kind of a guide. So there are on my sewing machine a bunch of different markings here. So it'll show you, this says 5/8. So if you put the edge of the fabric at the 5/8, it's going to be 5/8 of an inch from the needle where it is here. So if you see, I've got a 1 inch. It's kind of hard back there, but this line is the 1 inch. So I'm going to line this line up right here with the 1 inch line, and then know it's got about 1/2 an inch here. So I want to keep this amount of space the entire way down. There we go. We've got our first 2 lines quilted. It's about right at 1 inch all the way down. So I'm just going to keep moving left, keep marking it at 1 inch, keeping that same distance, and keep going. Now you'll notice I'm not using a quilting foot, or it's called a walking foot for your machine. I have used walking foots before. It's a special machine that helps lift all 3 layers through your machine instead of dragging it. If you're working with a large project and you're quilting, say, a queen size quilt, a walking foot can definitely be helpful. But since I'm just doing a small project, I don't need a walking foot. I'm able to really help it go through my machine. There's not a lot of drag on it. So if you read somewhere that you need a walking foot, for large projects, yes. For smaller projects, not so much. I'm almost done this one, so I'm just going to roll up that extra so that it fits through my machine and keep going. Now for my pink fabrics, I chose to do the same design. I'm just doing 1 inch wide all the way down. I had stuck with that with my first one, so I'm actually going to add some lines to this on the next. But for right now, just going to stick with doing the inch line. Now you may ask why I'm quilting this fabric when you can buy pre-quilted fabric in different designs. Pretty much every quilting store should have a selection. It's not very large. Usually they just have a few colors that are pre-quilted. You can find some online that are some really fun pre-quilted fabrics, but they are more pricey. So this is just an easy way, if you have a specific fabric that you want to use, to go ahead and quilt it, and then you have it exactly how you want. You can really personalize it. And this is just really fun. It's just straight lines. It's easy. Put on a movie, listen to some music, and quilt your own fabric. I've got this fabric all done. I've been working on quilting it. So now I've got a bunch of little lines. And for this one, I could leave it with a bunch of little lines, or I could go back and do little squares. Also do lines going this way. What do you think? Part of me just wants to leave it like this because of the fabric, and I think it would just be really pretty with just the lines, but I've already done that on one set. So I think just to compare and do differently, I'm going to go the other way as well. So I'm going to start on one side and make lines all the way across. Here we go. I just sewed my first line, so there are my little squares. I'm just going to keep doing this all the way down, but I really like that look. Now for my aqua fabric, I'm choosing to do just straight lines again, but I am going larger straight lines because this was a bigger piece of fabric. I chose to go ahead and do lines that were about 2 inches apart. So same concept, just a little bit further apart. So for this one, I have all my lines going this way. I did these larger, about 2 inches apart, and then I decided to put some diagonal lines going this way. So I've been working on doing that, and I like the little diamond shape that it makes. All right, my quilted fabric is done. So I ended up doing 3 different ones. So this one, just with the different lines going down. I really like the way that turned out. So just simple lines about 1.5 inches across. And then I did this one. This one is double-sided, and I did it in a grid pattern. So a bunch of different grids there, these are about 1-inch blocks. I really like how that turned out. I just left it as the diamond shaped. So you can see those diamonds on there. So that's a larger piece. So I'm excited that'll do a bigger project. So those are my 3 different quilted fabrics. So when I'm ready to do a project with some quilted fabric, I have it ready. One thing I wanted to show you is that you could certainly quilt with a bunch of different things. I just used a straight stitch on here, but I tried a little piece of fabric just with a little bit of batting and tried some different stitches. So I tried a curved stitch. I tried just different ones on my machine. There was like a little zigzag stitch. There was a loop, if you can see the loop, and then there were little like leaves or a vine. And I thought it would be really cute if you have a pretty stitch like this on your machine. It would definitely take a lot longer. If I tried to do the special stitching on one of these, it would have taken a long time. So, but maybe if you have a small project that you want to quilt, maybe try some different stitches. That would be nice. And that's it for the video today. All my quilted fabric is done, so I'll have more projects coming up soon. But for today, that's the video. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.